This is an Eye on Annapolis bonus podcast.
All right, well, today we are here at Bread and Butter Kitchen, and before we start, I have a riddle for my guest. What do Coldplay, Dropkick Murphys, Busta Rhymes, and the Eastport Oyster Boys have in common?
I say bad taste in clothing.
That might be the second answer.
Yeah.
They both made their debut in 1996.
Really? I didn't realize they were that old, too.
Funny, I was just talking to Busta Rhymes. He said, shit, I didn't realize Kevin was that old.
Yeah. Well, those guys. Well, Dropkick they're aging well. Those boys are doing great.
I'll tell you, today we're joined by Kevin Brooks of the Eastport Oyster Boys and Bombay Vanta around town, I guess. Mm-hmm. They call themselves the musical Goodwill Ambassadors for Annapolis. I think that was bestowed upon them by Mayor Cohen, maybe?
It started with Mayor Cohen and it's been ratified ever since. We have to kind of pay our dues to Mayor Litton at this point. But yes, we have continued to be the official musical Goodwill Ambassadors for the City of Annapolis since the 90s.
Keep milking it.
Hey, man.
Does it get you free parking?
No, and they usually charge us extra for a pint at Galway.
Oh, got to work on that.
Yeah.
I mean, Livin's a business owner. I mean, he might understand.
Well, it is. Oyster Boys we're an LLC, but we can never call ourselves a business, because we don't take ourselves that seriously, and I don't think anyone else does. So,
well, I can agree with you on that, and thankfully so. But we're here talking today. But I mean, we talked about Busta Rhymes, and we talked about Coldplay and Dropkick Murphys. 30 years, man, and I was sitting there thinking when the Eastport Oyster Boys were turning 30, I'm like, well, gosh, I talked to some bands that come to Ram's Head that are maybe 50 years old and stuff like that. And I'm like, holy mackerel, who was there? And I'm like, this is crazy that you guys are 30 years old. And appropriately enough, you're embarking on a Shuck It Tour.
Well, yep, this is our 30th anniversary Shuck It Tour celebration. And what we're talking about today is Maryland Hall coming up on Sunday, March 22nd, 4 o'clock, okay? Shows 4 to 6. There's a reception afterwards, but if you need to get home to see Jeopardy by 7, we can get you home by 7.
Well, that's very cool because we're all a little bit older here in Annapolis. So we can, that 4 o'clock show works out really well.
It works out well. It's along with Arts Week at the Maryland Hall, so it's working right into their schedule. So Arts Week, and that we are the closing act of Arts Week.
Well, it is in the main theater at Maryland Hall. You can get your tickets. There are still some available. I looked before we rolled down here to Bread and Butter, marylandhall.org, and then you can surf to events and you'll see the Eastport Oyster Boys 30th anniversary there. And there is a $25 add-on for a VIP reception and afterwards, right?
Yeah, there's actually, we have 2 tiers. There's general admission, and then there's
I call that the RIB ticket.
Yeah.
And then you got the Hinckley tickets.
Then you have the priority seating. And as it sits right now, I think this is going to change in the next week. If you're in the VIP section, you can also help raise more money for AM/FM by buying a $25 VIP reception afterwards. However, I'm getting a lot of kickback from the general admission. They want to come to the reception as well. So keep an eye on that. If we have space and tickets available, we will open up the reception after the show, right backstage. Food by Bread and Butter, where we are today. Food by the Boatyard, Flying Dog, and the Buck Distributing is providing the drink 'em ups. So it's really worthwhile. Again, the whole thing is going to help support AM/FM, the Annapolis Musicians Fund for Musicians, which is really a health insurance and job, helps struggling musicians out like Tom Gay and everybody else in the band.
They're a wonderful organization. And again, I don't want to get into too much of what they've done. We talked with PJ and everybody there, but it's, musicians are tough. They lead a tough life, if you will. Sometimes they don't have health insurance. Sometimes emergencies happen. Gigs get canceled at the last minute.
That's the whole point of AM/FM is to cover that health insurance and those issues. And if you lose a gig, that's a chunk out of a musician's pocket if they lose that gig. So
sure, and they do all number of different scholarships as well for kids that are looking to nonprofits that have a music component to help supplement scholarships to camps and stuff like that, as well as scholarships to schools for kids that are interested in pursuing a music career.
Well,
Really good organization.
That's why the Oyster Boys picked that. You know, we do a lot of environmental groups. We do Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Shore Rivers, River Keepers, Thomas Point Light. We really have been an environmental organization. However, at this point in our career, there are so many young, talented musicians coming up through Annapolis. We want to be able to help support that. If we can do a legacy with AM/FM, then we'll be happy.
Let's talk a little bit about this tour that's coming up. And for those that don't know who the Eastport Oyster Boys are, first of all, shame on you.
Yeah.
Second of all, go to oysterboys.com and find out about them. And then go to marylandhall.org and buy your damn ticket, because March 22nd, you've got a great night of entertainment.
And we're going to have a real, and I say this properly, a real shipload of talent joining us throughout the years. We have a lot of alumni coming up, some from Florida, some locals, some names that you'll know, but also we got himself, Jefferson Holland, poet laureate of Annapolis. But Jeff and I founded the band back in 1995. So we're really happy to have Jeff as part of this show to celebrate the 3 decades of oyster boying music and mirth.
Well, your current lineup right now is yourself pretty much on guitar and banjos, and you all do vocals.
Yeah.
You've got Tom Gay, who's guitar and fiddle, mostly. Mike Lang, who's keyboards. And you've got Andy with the trombone.
And Andy's our trombone player, and he's our Energizer bunny. If you haven't seen Andy on stage, it's worth the price of admission just to see Andy on the stage playing the trombone and some percussion and some backing vocals.
Well, I will say 2 things I love about Andy is that, I mean, he kept that whole Ward 1 happy playing his trombone during COVID.
Oh, that was great.
At the end of the day, Andy was going to go out and play. And I love following them when they go on their winter sojourns.
Oh, yeah.
And Andy just like walks into like some bar down in Fort Lauderdale and says, "Hey, I got a trombone. Can I?"
Yeah, he's Andy is such a talent, as well. All the guys in the boys in the band. Again, they were the backing band for Jeff and I for our first 15 years or so. And when Jeff retired back in 2012, I just went, Andy, Mike, Tom, come on, everybody up front, because Tom's a writer and has some great tunes. Mike has written some incredible tunes, including Rise Up, which we dedicated to the Capitol. We're going to be doing that Sunday at Maryland Hall. We're doing Rise Up. And you mentioned PJ Thomas. PJ is going to be part of our backing vocals. We have the Oysterettes are joining us. And so PJ and a couple...
call them the Spats.
Well, Oysterettes. And she's also going to be a co-MC along with Mike Hughes. Everyone knows Mike Hughes from the WR&R days, but now his Strategies group. He and I will be working together at the day before at the Annapolis Oyster Roast and Sock Burning.
Well, that's when I saw that. You guys are coming off on this show off of 2 oyster roasts, or off the 2 sock burnings. Well, you've got the Eastport Yacht Club and the Annapolis Maritime Museum.
It's that time of year, John. I mean, come on. This is what we do. We wait all year this is our favorite time of the year, that we can burn our socks. The ospreys come back. And then also know the sad part about March and sock burning. That's when the great oyster herds start migrating from the Chesapeake Bay up to their summary grounds up in Nova Scotia.
Tom Gay was telling me about that migration the last time we talked, when we talked about his book.
Well, there's people ask, why don't we eat oysters in May, June, July, August? They're not here. They're in Bay of Fundy. They learned a long time ago that it's in much better condition. So they will return around October.
Right. That's true. They're probably up there with the mussels.
Oh, yeah.
They're cousins.
They're having a great time up there.
Well, let's talk about 30 years. Let's talk about the Eastport Oyster Boys. And I mean, you said you started this with Jeff Holland.
Yeah.
Way back in 95, I guess is when.
Yeah, back in the last century.
I know. It's depressing when you go in and you happen to get carded. And usually it's like in a Bay Sox game or something like that, where you've got a kid running the alcohol, and they say, you card everybody. It doesn't matter whether they're 105 or 25, and they just quickly look at, oh, you're born in 1900 or before 2000. You're good.
Right. Well, that's we fit that category.
It's like, oh my gosh. But you've grown into a 4-person collaboration, as you talked about. I mean, music is pretty much sort of a hybrid between Americana, and you got Celtic, you got island rhythms. I mean, you can't pigeonhole the Eastport Oyster Boys.
And that's one of our purposes. Well, first of all, we want to have fun and entertain ourselves before we can entertain you. And our focus, our mission, our focus, our lyrics, kind of center around Chesapeake Bay. Bay life. There's no question about it. But Chesapeake Bay life is very eclectic. I mean, we have a real mixing pot of cultures, of foods, of taste over, over the centuries. I mean, long before John Smith and the boys and girls here, they're having great oyster feasts and crab feast. So the message will always be Chesapeake Bay, enjoying life, good hats, good dogs, good boats, pretty women, oysters, crabs, living here. But we want to do it in a way that we can have fun doing it. Waltzes, tango, Irish, we've been there. So that's why we do it that way.
Where did good hat, good dog, and good boat come from?
Before the Oyster Boys and before the Maritime Republic, I was living here on 2nd Street. My wife and I moved in 89. I had been kind of working as a crew and cook on a lot of the charter boats here before Jan and I bought. And it was a very simple thing. People asked me about Eastport, and I went, no, we like it this way.
Okay. And I've heard that before.
And I would say that, and that became the motto of the MRE. People don't know you hear about your car or your house. They know your hat, your dog, and your boat. That's the only things that really matter. So, good hat, good dog, good boat wrote itself. It really did. We're pleased that people have been able to connect with it over the years.
Absolutely. Well, you talked about your Chesapeake lore and the way the band is really telling the stories of the Chesapeake life here in Annapolis and stuff like that. And I will say that you guys have been a great steward for that and the appreciation for the Bay. You balance your humor with your message and everything else that goes there. You get into the Bay history and you may not realize that you're learning it.
Well, we do it stealthily. We do it stealth.
You do. You absolutely do. But one thing that you did was you did 15 years or 15 seasons, 15 sailings or something like that on American Cruise Lines?
Yeah, American Cruise Line, which if you're watching PBS these days, you see that they're really making a play for a national audience. Anyway, with the American Cruise Line, that the Oyster Boys, we were for 15 seasons pretty much the Chesapeake Bay centric entertainer and historians and storytellers, and we really got a chance to spread the wealth and the enjoyment of living here on Chesapeake Bay through that. And education, yes, we would sneak in a little bit of a history about John Smith and Chesapeake Bay during the Revolution, Athens of America, during the Civil War, this, that, and we'd kind of work our way up to current day. So within, as Tom Gay would say, our fractured fairy tales of history, we would interject real history along with a little humor to give people a sense of where they are rather than just, passing through the bay and
having people sing.
Yeah.
It was what did the tourists consistently get wrong about the Chesapeake Bay? 15 seasons. You're hearing, the people are coming here to explore the Chesapeake Bay. They're usually into D.C. and everything else with a little trip. But
the reality is that our visitors don't know how big the Bay is, but the real reality is many of our Marylanders and really don't know what the Bay means to Maryland, to Chesapeake Bay, to the seafood industry, and to American culture, American history. Ken Burns is talking about American Revolution. This is our backyard, Lafayette camped in my backyard on the way to Yorktown. So we were able to put in a little history here. And I also talk about pre-colonial history and the original Americans here living here for 15,000 years along the Chesapeake, speaking in Algonquin tongue, confederacy of tribes working together. Chesapeake Bay was a kind of a neutral ground for the North and the South tribes. And it was really, everyone shared the Bay, so to speak. So anyway, there's a lot of history here beyond George Washington resigning his commission, on December 23rd, 1783.
Which is cool, but,
Which is cool,
yes.
yeah. But there's a whole lot here.
Well, there is. And I tell you, I would recommend anybody that's local that lives here, hop on a woodwind.
Yeah, the woodwind.
Hop on at the Maritime Museum, the Wilma Lee.
Yeah.
Hop on Watermark's Harbor Queen.
Yeah.
And you'll learn something. And I do that all the time. There's a wealth of knowledge. I know that you guys have performed on the woodwinds several times.
Whoa.
Many, many times.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where you get the little bit of history. I mean, my first thing, my aha moment was they were talking about, I think it was on a Watermark tour. They said that, the wealthy way back when used to live at the top of the hill.
Yeah,
and the poor lived at the bottom.
And because things go downhill.
That's exactly what I said. That's where downhill comes from.
Goes downhill.
Perfect. But get out there and explore what you have. And I mean, it always blows my mind. I was talking to the executive director of the Annapolis Maritime Museum at one point. They were saying that there's so many kids that live in Eastport that when they come on a field trip or something like that, it's the first time seeing or being out on the bay.
Yeah, yes, very much so.
And that just blows my mind because you can spit on it from where they are. So that's, we're so fortunate to have that. And we're so fortunate to have people like Eastport Oyster Boys that are turning around and, singing or telling the stories of it.
Well, that's been our core mission, is to spread the cheer and to celebrate this place we call home.
Another great, not in Annapolis, but the Captain Avery Museum down in Shady Side.
Sure.
Is a recent discovery for me. It's like a little hidden gem. And I was like, just the models that they got and everything else. And
they have a wonderful oyster roast every October. And we've been part of that for years and years. We haven't been able to be there the last couple of years because of scheduling conflict, but it's really worth a day. Lots of good music, oysters, but this Salem Avery, there's a lot of wonderful small museums around the Chesapeake Bay that tell the story. Between the Eastern Shore, go to Blackwater, go to Harriet Tubman, go to, of course, Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum. Northeast has a museum. So there's plenty of places to be educated in not only our history, but our beauty and what the Bay means to us now, not just 400 years ago.
Oh, true. It was at Captain Avery Museum that I learned what a biboat was. Oh, do you know what a biboat is?
We call them floating dump trucks. Biboat is an indigenous boat to Chesapeake Bay. Down in Virginia, they call them deck boats. But we had our own biboat here in Annapolis for quite a while that I crewed on, the Half Shell. She's a wonderful biboat built in 1928. Biboats would go out to the oystering fleet, hand-tonging or the skipjacks, and, quote, buy the seafood and bring it to market. So the skipjacks and the hand-tongers could stay out on the reef doing their job. So biboats, there's a great biboat association, Chesapeake Bay Biboat Association, and we got in trouble with them a few years ago. We love these people and we love biboats, but the Oyster Boys have been talking about that great divide between, there's two bodies of people in this country, and they've been back and forth, getting, just yelling at each other and harshness and just bad looks. They're back and forth for years and years and years, and they'll never agree on anything. And I'm not talking red state, blue state.
Right.
I'm not talking Republican, Democrat. I'm talking powerboat or sailboat. Right. That's what I'm talking. They'll never agree. However, guys like Andy Fagley have converted their trawler boat into a sailboat. So Andy is the official, we call him a transvesselite. Okay. But we called him bibodal for a long time, but Chesapeake Bay Biboat Association started asking us not to use that term because people were getting confused. So anyway, anyone who goes power and sail, which all Oyster Boys go power and sail, we are now transvesselites.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a spin-off band.
Well, there's a lot of tribute bands coming around these days. Journey, Styx, Eagles, Rolling Stones, all these tribute bands. So Oyster Boys actually, we have a tribute band that will be debuting April 1st of this year, 2026. We're still working on the venue, but the tribute band, they called it Shuck It Brothers. The Shuck It Brothers, and they're going to play Oyster Boy music plus other stuff. And we encourage you, but again, April 1st is when they're coming out.
I keep my eye open.
Wink, wink, nod, nod, right. Say no more.
Right. Well, you talked about Jeff Holland coming back up here, but then I was looking at some of your alumni that have been here. I mean, Randy Morris, Scott Himes, who I had no idea was part of that. Todd Kamen.
Todd's been with us for a while. He's a great horn player.
Rich King, Keith Manuel. Yep. Herbie Wheatley.
Yep. Herbie's going to be sitting in with us a good bit this year. We're very excited about that.
Are all these guys coming back to stand in at some point?
Oh, yeah. Well, during our show at Maryland Hall on the 22nd, we're going to have a kind of through the years of some of the original players will be sitting in with us for a bit. And of course, we'll have a wonderful Come All Ye. But we've been working for the past couple of months, putting together the run of show. And matter of fact, we're just into, we use this term very lightly because people don't associate this word with the Oyster Boys. Rehearsal.
You guys do that?
No, we do not. We do not. It would blow our image if people knew that we actually. But with the boys coming back in, some from out of state, yeah, we're going to get together at Andy's shack and blow out a few, a little carbon out of the exhaust pipe. And we have some wonderful musicians. Again, Scott Heim, Rich King, Todd King, Keith Manuel, Randy Morris from Florida. We're going to also say thank you to those that could not be with us that day over the years: Cliff Long, Steve Keith, my cousin Randy Nielsen. So anyway, we're going to be celebrating 30 years of Oyster Boy.
That still blows my mind. 30 years.
Yeah, me too.
And the thing that was really neat is that you guys appear, appearances can be deceiving, but I don't think I'm off on this, but you guys appear to be really tight and good friends.
Otherwise, when you can't be in the band,
that's just, I talked to somebody that was maybe it's like the Zombies or somebody that came through here that had been around forever.
Yeah.
And what was the secret? They said, none of us like each other. They said, we respect the hell out of each other for their musical abilities and we work well together, but and I can't remember who it was, but they said, but we're not going out and having drinks afterwards and everything else. And stuff like that. But you guys have made that work. And I mean, you guys are true. I mean, you're just as apt to see the four of you sitting up on stage as you are sitting on a stool at Davis's.
That's about right. And again, we wouldn't want to have any person in the band that didn't share the fun and the mission and the love. And we're very, very, very fortunate to be who we are and to do what we do for as long as we've done it for who we do it for, which is you all and you all coming to Maryland Hall. But we've been able to spread the word internationally as well.
And I do want to talk about that. I mean, Nova Scotia, Ireland, Europe, you were summoned by a former president of the United States to play for him, for crying out loud.
We were very, very fortunate and pleased to have been invited to play for President Carter and Miss Rosalynn and 300 of their closest friends. And that was at a private crab feast here on the Chesapeake Bay a few years ago. And if I can tell you real quick, Jimmy Carter maybe not have been our best president. I voted for him, but he is the best ex-president that we have ever had. He is incredible. And of course, he just passed.
Amen.
The boys asked, could we meet President and Mrs. Carter? And halfway through our show, you see the guys with the little squiggly things coming out of their ear, coming up to the band and going, you have 2 minutes, right? And here comes President Carter and Miss Rosalynn. And the band stops and they come up. And Jimmy Carter, in his perfect, Plains, Georgia accent, he said, boys, would you mind if Mrs. Carter and I had our pictures taken with you? You could have mopped us up. We melted. That's exactly what he said. Would you mind if we had our pictures taken with you?
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And we have the pictures to prove it. So anyway, yes, we've played for many governors. We played for international delegations, chiefs of NATO, joint chiefs of staff. So yeah, we've been very fortunate and we are always surprised that security lets us in. We don't know how we got through security through all these gigs.
They don't know you well enough. Maybe we need to send you on a Mideast peacekeeping mission.
I think we're going to stay within the MRE for a while.
Well, the world does need more Jimmy Carters right now at this point. I think we can all agree with that there. But what's it like? You started this 30 years ago as two guys. A little bit before that.
On the Woodwind. We started on the Woodwind.
That was probably like one of their first years too.
It was their exact first year, and we were the first entertainers, and we did it every week, once or twice a week, and that's where Jeff and I started writing songs together and telling stories, because everything that we did on that 2-hour cruise, we would point at. and have a song, or we would talk about the spider buoy, which used to be Greenberry Point Light, or George Washington slept here at the Horn Point marker out there on the shoal. So that's where the real genesis of Oyster Boy music has started happening on the woodwind, and from there we won't take any blame or credit at that point. You know,
I gotta love it because I can picture this right now. You've got Ken and Barb Kay with the woodwinds probably going, is this going to work? And you got Jeff and Kevin getting on the woodwind going, is this going to work?
Yeah.
And sure enough, 30 years later, we're both here, and we're both glad that you are.
We congratulate the Kays on their sale and transfer of the woodwinds. Because I know they're going to be in good hands. And Ken and Ellen and Captain Jen.
Ellen, I said Barb. I don't know where that came from, but
Captain Jen, I mean, they deserve their time out. They have done a wonderful thing, not only giving people sailing experiences, but building two of the sexiest sailboats or schooners on the bay, and they
movie star quality, if you will.
Oh yeah, and of course they've done so well with the Great Chesapeake Bay Schooner Race. They're always in the top running for that. But they're beautiful boats, and they sail like a dream. And we've been very, very fortunate and pleased to be a part of their family.
Absolutely. But what's it like when you see that your Chesapeake lore, that your unique way of telling the story of the Chesapeake Bay, is translated out into a global audience? That's pretty heady.
It is. And one thing that we found out that is pretty standard when we play internationally. First of all, we're always going to play someplace where there's water, right? Where there's dogs, where there's boats. And Ireland, Nova Scotia, even in Estonia, we were with dogs, hats, and boats. And it takes about one or two songs of us kind of, working people we're in their home, but we're telling them about our home. And about by the second or third song, and maybe by the second pint of Guinness, they're going, oh, these boys are talking about home. They like dogs. They like boats. They like, hats. They like this. They like pretty women. We like dogs. We like dogs. And so
they like mice.
So it's an immediate sharing of cultures, and we're not coming in, highbrow. We're coming in as fun and relaxed. And we've been allowed to come back to Ireland several times. We have a new song that I can't guarantee I'm going to get it out for Maryland Hall, but it's called "The Boys Came Back." And it's our adventures being actually sent by the mayor of Annapolis to get out of town. You guys we need some peace and quiet. You guys got to leave. We're going to send you to Ireland. After we drank up all the Guinness, the Irish sent us back. Same thing in Nova Scotia. You guys get up there, go away for a while. And they're always sending us one-way tickets. We couldn't figure that out. We get up to Nova Scotia. Do you know what Screech is?
No.
It's kind of their local poaching. It is their local
thing.
Yeah. So we drank up all the Screech in Nova Scotia. So they sent us back.
Time for you to leave.
Yeah, and the same thing in Estonia. We had a wonderful experience in Estonia playing an international festival. And by the time it was all over, we knew a few words in Estonian language, Eesti, they call it. They told us we were going on a bus ride to a feast and play for some friends out in the east of Estonia. And when we got to the Russian border, we realized we had been fooled again. So anyway, when we drank up all the vodka in Russia, they sent us back again. So that's a song coming out sometime this year.
So we're stuck with you
in a limited way now. The Shuck It Tour is not our farewell tour, but what it means is that after 30 years, that we're going to be throttling back a little bit. We were doing 50 shows a year up until 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And if we can now focus in doing a couple fun benefits here in the Annapolis, Chesapeake Bay region. Actually, I'm doing benefits out in the Puget Sound now as well. If we can get in, 15 to 20 shows a year and raise money and awareness and have fun doing it and still be married. and still get on our own boats.
Well, 30 years later, you probably got that down.
Well, don't talk to the oysterettes too much. but anyway, so yeah, we have a couple shows lined up for the fall. We have a couple Eastport Rockin', of course, this summer, and a couple nice small private events. But yes, we're available, but not as much as we used to be.
Not plentiful.
Yeah.
And I will never believe a band, because as being a fan of the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
I will never believe a band that says, well, we're on our final tour.
Oh, no.
We've been doing that final tour since 1977 with the Eagles.
So lesson be learned.
True. I just saw them about a year ago at the Sphere in Vegas. If you ever get a chance to go out,
oh boy,
it's an incredible venue.
I can imagine.
Okay, real quick on the Oyster Boys. What's your favorite line?
Favorite line?
Yeah, the favorite line, lyric in the song.
My favorite line is "Thank you." For letting us do this. Our favorite line, goodness gracious! I mean, there's so many. That's a tough one, John. I'm going to have to think about that. But I say "thank you" is my favorite line, because not many musicians get to do what we've done for whom we've done, like I said, and to have the experiences and still get excited about going on stage.
It's what it's all about. Yeah, it's what it's all about. What's your most requested song when?
Well, you mentioned Good Hat, Good Dog, Good Boat. It's only a handful of shows that we haven't done that. And sometimes it was on purpose, sometimes it was. But if we don't do it, people will come up and make a comment.
Yeah.
So it's there whether we want it to or not. But some beautiful songs. Again, Mike's Rise Up is beautiful. Tom's Hot Crabs Cold Beer is as nails life here as well as it is. Hot Crabs Cold Beer. There ain't no place better than here. I mean, so all that stuff. And, of course, Miss Lonesome that Jeff wrote, Marina, that she and I wrote together. So there are a lot of them. But Good Hat would be probably the one that people that request the most.
If you were a boat, if the band was a boat, what kind and what's broken on it?
Well, first of all, every boat's got something broken on it. I mean, you cannot have a boat with it. A boat can never be 100% all the time. That's just not going to happen. I don't know. I think would be kind of like Andy's amalgamated boat, which is a wonderful cruising power boat, but also has a full sail rig on it. So, I think we'll be bi-boatal. I think that we would go both power and sail.
Fantastic. I'll say, look, again, what really impresses me most about the Eastport Oyster Boys is that despite the fact that you're in Estonia and sometimes you even ventured over to Kent Island to entertain President Carter, but
we have been there,
and then Nova Scotia and Puget Sound and everything else, is that your roots are here and you kept them here. You're like our hometown band.
Should we apologize for that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, and that's exactly why we love you for that.
Oh, well, very kind.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you say, you talk about bands from Annapolis.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people will talk about Good Charlotte, which played here, but I think they were sort of Waldorfish or something like that. But again, that conversation is going nowhere without the Eastport Oyster Boys.
Well, that's very kind, and that's the role as musical Goodwill Ambassadors from Annapolis and Chesapeake Bay has been something that we've been proud of, and that we hope that we can continue to honor. There is so much talent in this town. The young talent coming up now is blowing our socks off. I mean, we're going to burn those socks, but the young talent coming up is just exciting. Annapolis has always been a magnet. I mean, from the colonial days, the Athens of America, it has always been a magnet for artists, writers, musicians. However, I think right now, some of the talent coming up, and AM/FM is really helping support that. And that's why we're doing the benefit for AM/FM is that some of these kids are just blowing our socks off.
They're pretty amazing. I mean, I'll throw some. You got Madison Bailey, who's amazing. You've got Aaron Bookheister. I mean, there's
Scribe, all the crew. Matter of fact, I was just down in Florida. My wife and I took a short break, and guess who was playing in the local Irish pub for free? Pressing Strings, Jordan, and I mean, they're they're a regional, but also a national band that, we happy pay $30-$40. They were playing in a local Irish pub, and we shocked them when we walked in their door. But I mean, the talent that these guys have, pressing strings, Mike McHenry, Classic Case, all these bands just have so much good stuff. So we're in it to celebrate together, and we're going to be inviting a lot of them. Matter of fact, PM Nathan will be on the show at Maryland Hall. He played a lot on our earlier albums.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you, when I talk to different artists that are coming in, typically they're coming into Ram's Head or something like that, I have a few signature questions, and I'm not going to exempt you from them, but what's a bucket list collaborator for you? Who would you like to do a double bill with? The Eastport Oyster Boys and any band, artist, dead or alive?
Dead or alive. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to mention one that some people will understand, some people won't, but they were such an influence on me growing up as a young musician, and that's David Bromberg. Do you know David Bromberg?
Yeah, David Bromberg Quartet, sure.
David came up through the folks. He was Bob Dylan's backup. He worked with Jerry Jeff Walker, but he is the one that showed me, as a member of the Oyster Boys, how to shift genres in a set and enjoy. I always wanted to be Gordon Lightfoot's bass player. That's what when I was growing up as a bass player, I wanted to be Gordon Lightfoot's bass player. Ended up getting close. Mac Bailey and I played together for a long time, and Mac ended up with the Limelighters and then the John Denver Band. We've played with the Wolf Tones. We've the Irish band. Yep. So again, Bromberg would be probably my number one. Gordon Lightfoot, of course. There's the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. That's who I want to play. There you go. The original Preservation Hall Jazz Band.
See what we can do on that. Okay, and the last one, the song from your catalog that you never just tire of. It's sort of like asking who your favorite kid is, but what song do you get up there and it's like, okay, this is why I do this?
I think you would have to ask each band member individually on that, because we all have favorites, and we all, go, oh, he's not going to do that one again. And right now, I think my personal favorite is a song I wrote a few years ago out in Colorado. It's called "This Too Shall Pass," and it's very simple. Good songs write themselves quickly. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Don't worry about the future. Don't fret about the past. Enjoy this moment as long as it lasts. Because my friend John, this too shall pass.
What a great way to end this. That's a perfect lyric. Eastport Oyster Boys 30th anniversary Shuck It Tour Celebration at Maryland Hall, March 22nd, 4 p.m. Tickets at marylandhall.org.
Yep.
You can pick up probably that extra $25 for a VIP reception afterwards,
yep,
which is Eastport code for drinking.
Socks optional.
That's true. Yep. They will have been burned.
They will have been burned
the 2 days before. Again, tickets at marylandhall.org, and it does benefit AM/FM, which is a wonderful organization that we've got here. But for all things Oyster Boys, oysterboys.com will get you there. But Kevin Brooks, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for 30 years.
Say now, hey, look at me. I'm bright and I'm shining and I fly real fast. The other one says, this too shall pass. Two old men sitting in the shade. One say, you know how much money I made? The other one says, enjoy it while it lasts, because my friends, help me out. This too shall pass. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. Don't worry about the future, don't fret about the past. Enjoy this moment as long as it lasts, because my friends, yeah, this too shall pass. true. Each has got a path that's only for you. So don't worry about the future, don't fret about the past. But you know, my friends, yeah, this too shall pass. So I brought this song back to the band about a year ago, and they said, that's pretty heavy duty for an Oyster Boy song. Take a six-pack natty bow, go down to the Pearl of Eastport, and write the perfect Oyster Boy verses for this song. I went down to the boat, but it took a 12-pack, all right? It took a 12-pack. Came up with these verses. We don't care if you're a power boat or a sailboat or a bi-boatal, because some of our best friends are bi-boatal, by the way. So this verse is for all of you out there on the bay. Big power boat, screaming across the bay. Hey, sailor boy, get out of my way. I'm bright and I'm loud, and it costs a lot of cash. The sailor boy says, this too shall pass. Same power boat, later same day, afloat and drifting in the middle of the bay. Hey, sailor boy, you got any spare gas? The sailor boy says, you can kiss my... This too shall pass, this too shall pass. Don't worry about the future, don't fret about the past. Enjoy this moment as long as it lasts. So you know, my friends, this too shall pass. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure and honor to be with you all tonight. Just give me a hand. We want to thank Scott, Ryan, and Dylan Lloyd. We want to thank all the folks that helped support this beautiful theater. Folks listening in here at the Alumni. All right, grab a beverage. Let's go out in style. Let's go out Oyster Boy style. Grab a beverage. And grab the hand of someone you love, or someone you might want to love more by the end of the night.
It's game board.
Here we go. It's been our pleasure. So join us, our friends, and let's raise a glass. Let's toast to the future. Let's toast to the past. Let's toast to this moment as long as it lasts, because you know, my friends, it's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you. We're the Oyster Boys. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
This has been a bonus podcast from Eye on Annapolis. Please visit us at eyeonannapolis.net. Follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. And if you haven't subscribed to the Daily News Brief podcast, go for it. And all of your local news will be delivered to your phone, tablet, or smart device by 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday.